Good morning, and thank you all for attending our webinar today on using visualization to succeed with big data. My name is Natalie Musa, and I'm going to run through a few housekeeping items before I introduce our speakers for today. The webinar will be followed by a question and answer period, so if you have a question during the presentation, please type it in the question box, and we will be sure to answer them at the end of the presentation. Now I'm going to introduce one of our speakers for today, Kurt Luke, Managing Director of Business Intelligence and Analytics Solutions here at Platfora. With that being said, I hope you all enjoy the webinar, and now I'm going to turn it over to Kurt.
Thanks, Natalie. All right, good afternoon and good morning on the West Coast. I appreciate everyone's attendance and sincerely hope that you gather some very valuable information and insights from our presentation today. Go ahead and go to the next page. All right, so our topic for today is on visual analytics in the big data space. And the question that we have formed as we have built this webinar is to help companies answer what are the leading products in the big data visual analytics space, and what are the main strengths or features that would drive an organization to look and or select this product. And I'll tell you that we're constantly reviewing the market with our customers, and this particular area of BI, specifically big data visualization, is rapidly changing. So we're going to have to move fast, because we've got a slew of products that we're going to be looking at. We're going to be giving a demonstration of some of the products, and then a few others will be giving more of some screenshot views of them. Frankly, we were a bit worried about doing this live, and just because we have so many products that are going to be running on one laptop. So let's go ahead and get started. So Platfora, we jokingly say, is the largest company you've never heard of. But we are a very, very large organization. We're a large system integrator with over 23,000 employees across the globe with 35 offices. Our services range from advisory services, BI analytics, which is what I care about, CRM, digital media, QA testing, and localization. We are an end-to-end consulting firm, both onshore and offshore. We're listed on the NASDAQ under the symbol PACT. All right. So the criteria for big data visualization. I wanted to cover a few topics sort of around the space before we jumped into the exact products. The criteria and expectation from the business users for data visualizations tools is quite high. So let me just list off a few of them in Word. We've got some pictures up here to represent that. But the first is that the highest expectation is that these tools are going to be easy to use. Mobile is becoming a pretty strong desire. Visualization, obviously, but how good? So some products have, frankly, they're a little nicer than others. Can it read social media and textual analytics? Does it integrate with big data? And that's what we'll be talking a lot about that. But how does it integrate with big data? Does it fit within your overall technical architecture? There's a lot of conversations around sort of rationalizing products. So do we want to bring yet another one in? And then if we do, how does it fit with the other products that we have? Financial stability is something that definitely needs to be considered when you're looking at some of the products that we're going to talk about today, because frankly, they're startups. This is a brand new space, and there are a ton of startups in this area. So another is statistical modeling. How much predictive analytics do you need to do? Are you looking for, I'll exaggerate, but pretty pictures, or are you looking for something with a lot more meat behind it in the terms of predictive analytics? Security. Do you want an industry niche provider or solution? And is it truly enterprise ready? Can it scale to where you're trying to go? We've worked on a number of vendor shootouts in regards to data visualization tools, and the criteria and specifics are quite high and vary depending on the particular use case. So why data visualization and business discovery? Why not traditional? I'm going to move through this slide fairly quickly. I assume that you can kind of read those through. But big data needs to be visualized. Big data by itself really provides no value. But outside of big data, these are the main drivers. You'll notice that each of these are really items that traditional BI tools have struggled, especially the areas of self-service and increasing productivity. Okay, so for those of you who are familiar with Gartner, this will be, you've probably seen this, but I want to use this as a backdrop for a discussion around market demand. The goal for any company, if you're not familiar with the Gartner quadrant, is to move from the bottom left to the right. It usually takes a number of years for vendors to move from the lower quadrant to the upper quadrant, and most vendors move from left to either top left or to bottom right, and then eventually to the top right. But what we're seeing right now in the year 2013 is a bit of an anomaly. Compared to looking at this same picture or same deliverable from Gartner in 2010, 2011, 2012, what we're seeing right now is that most vendors are either clearly in the bottom left, or I should say the bottom left or the top right. So what's going on? Well, the reason is because there's a significant war within this space. Business users, IT, and the vendors are in a wrestling match. And what we see this almost every day when we're at clients. The business users want things faster, IT wants more structure, and vendors on both sides are declaring themselves the solution. And I believe that the answer is that data visualization is still a complementary solution to traditional BI, but it is certainly getting more confusing for companies to pick and to make that decision. Just like big data is complementary to your traditional BI, so are the visual analytics to traditional BI. Okay, so let's start looking at some vendors. That's what everybody's here for. We're gonna go through a number of products, and I'll list them off real quick. Microsoft, QlikView, Spotfire, Tableau, Platfora, DataMeer, Splunk, Jaspersoft, and lastly, Alpine Data Labs. Believe me, there are plenty of others, but for the sake of time, we're going to look at these. We've listed these out in order from what I would say sort of traditional business discovery tools that are moving into this space, and those that are exclusively for big data. So let's start with Microsoft. And you might find it strange for us to actually be talking about Microsoft and big data, but Microsoft actually has definitely has some visual analytics, and there's a whole story around how they're coming to the market to answer big data with HD Insights and some partnership relationships with Hortonworks. But Microsoft SQL Server Reporting Services 2012 is an integral part of Microsoft's BI solution. At Pactera, we continue to see some significantly sized companies continue to hold to Microsoft for not just the database, but also BI reporting platform. The pricing on Microsoft tools continues to be very aggressive, which has been their sort of way to go to market. On average, though, this is used for medium-sized companies, with larger companies having a more traditional BI platform, and then one of the other visualization vendors that we'll talk about. The newest addition to the family of Microsoft tools for Microsoft is something called PowerView. PowerView is an ad hoc visualization experience. This is really their answer to this visualization area. It integrates, which is exactly what you would expect from a Microsoft tool, very cleanly with SharePoint, a number of other tools like PowerPoint and Excel. Visualizations include the expected bar charts, pie charts, trend lines, etc., and also have a rich integration with maps. So let's, over the next two slides, I want to show you an example of using the tool and an example with actually building out a map. So it's, as a quick bit background to what we're looking at, we're showing how data visualization can help you optimize your website. So we're looking at web logs. The example demonstration here shows clickstream data by location, allows us to filter data by product category, and graph the website user data by age and gender. So you can see that we've loaded the data into Excel. How did the data get here? Well, we pulled it in via Excel via ODBC from Hadoop. Obviously, terabytes of data are not going to fit into Excel. But Microsoft's taken the stance, as several other vendors that we're going to talk about, that you can only really visualize an aggregated slice of the data. Once it's in Excel, then we can start using this new tool called Power View. The example page here shows the use of Power View in a mapping demonstration. The map displays the product categories by color for each state. If we were live, we'd move the pointer over each state to display detailed category information. We can see that the large number of page hits on this example in Florida were for clothing, followed by shoes. The Power View field area appears on the right side of the window with the data table displayed on the left. We can drag the handle or click the pop-out icon to maximize the size of the data table. As I stated, the product can be used to build traditional charts, graphs, etc. You can see up here that you can hit bar charts, column charts, and other charts, and as well as the map that we have up here. So let's switch gears and look at another product which is considered by many the leader in the space in regards to visual analytics or business discovery. And I'm going to hand this over to Lauren Allen, who's a consultant within our BI and analytics practice, who is specializing in the visual analytics space. And we will bounce back and forth, so you'll be hearing a few different voices as we look at a number of the products. So, Lauren?
Thanks, Kurt. So we're going to start off with QlikView. QlikView is actually the pioneer of the data discovery market. It has an associative data model that actually builds the connections for you based on field names. It also has a green, gray, and white color scheme that brings those connections to life. Customers say they enjoy this tool because it's very customizable and intuitive to use. Since QlikView is run in memory, performance is generally very high, though for the same reason, it may not be the most optimal solution for companies with very large data volumes like terabytes or petabytes. QlikView's success was built on its in-memory solutions, but they have recognized the need for access to big data, so they have released a direct connect capability with Hadoop. So now let's take a look at a sample application around sales and customer analysis. So you'll see here a dashboard view of a company's sales and customer analysis, and you'll see on our left our selections and filters, and in the main screen some of the visualizations around those. So you may notice that if we're looking at margins, Canada seems to be doing the poorest. So maybe we wanted to drill into Canada, so we're going to click on Canada. And from there, maybe we want to look at specific products and how they're doing in the Canadian region. So we'll move over to the Products tab. And here we'll see that actually the lowest performing product here is the long sleeve logo jersey in size large. So maybe from here we want to look specifically at clothing and the jersey category. We'll see overall the category is not doing very well. And maybe that's because it's a seasonal item. Maybe we think it's a football jersey, and for that reason they're selling mostly in Q3 and Q4. But you'll also notice that sales are much higher in the U.S. So maybe we want to drill in further on the Regions tab and look at these all across the world. So from here we'll see that margins are actually negative in everywhere except for Australia. Maybe that's interesting.
Now let's also look at the ability to drill down the specific visualization. So let's say we want to look at sales in the U.S. So we can click on the United States, and from here we will see the sales by specific states. And you can filter through these additionally, and maybe you're interested in your lower performers, say Rhode Island, Idaho, Massachusetts, and etc. There are also additional tabs so you can drill down on your customer performance. And you also have the ability to look at where your customers are buying and what customers are buying, say, your jerseys, but what products are they also not purchasing. So this is just a quick view at a QlikView application. So I will hand this back over to Kurt.
All right, thanks, Lauren. So the next one that we're going to look at is a product called TIBCO Spotfire. Spotfire is the leading analytic data discovery platform when you're looking for a full breadth of business discovery, statistical analysis, and real-time data analysis. Spotfire integrates with big data via composite software, which is a product of TIBCO. And composite software provides connectors to various flavors of Hadoop. When we look at Spotfire and talk with companies about it, there's really about 5 things or differentiators for the Spotfire product. The first one is that Spotfire has what they call a dimension-free data exploration. What it really means is that it's both in memory, but it also can go directly to the database. So it's not limited exclusively to in-memory. The next piece is what's called data mashup. And it empowers users basically to quickly combine data without scripting. The third, and I would say probably main difference or main advantage, is that this product, while it can connect to big data, traditional data, it also provides very, very strong predictive analytics. Spotfire uniquely provides pre-packaged predictive analytic capabilities. It literally has an R engine built into the product, and it also integrates with SAS. So it allows for data scientists to build models and then share those models so that business users can just use them without understanding all the logic behind that. Spotfire has contextual collaboration, which basically allows users to capture and share insights while they're looking at the data. We're seeing this more and more with these large-scale initiatives around gathering data from all sorts of different source systems or existing data warehouses and being able to see the data across the entire supply chain. Well, inherent in that is the ability for people to share their thoughts and insights. And so Spotfire has a product that's in the Spotfire family called Tibber, which allows for this sort of complete conversation across multiple business users. And the last differentiator I would say is that there's for a number of the visual analytic tools, there's sort of a cry from IT that they may not be enterprise ready. But Spotfire has been around for a while. It is definitely, of the ones that we're going to be looking at today, it definitely has some features that would qualify it as enterprise ready. Let's take a real quick look at Spotfire. So I'm going to pull up this example right here. And this is really just an example of looking at channel insight. So the way that Spotfire works is basically like many of the tools. You can kind of select different areas. Once you select those, in this case, this is basically allowing the business user to mark certain records, which of course you can hold your mouse over and see information, which is all customizable. From there, once we've selected, these other visualizations sort of come alive, and we can continue to drill down into the data. Okay, I'm just going to real quickly let you see a number of the other visualizations. This is really kind of the tree map. I always think of this back from the late 90s with smart money, but being able to look at stocks, but in this case it's really cities and states, with the ability to drill down through. Over here on the right side, we've exposed the ability for somebody to quickly focus and look and make various selections. We can hide that if we would like to do that. And then the last piece, oh, I can see that actually some of the filters portion doesn't show up on the screen real well, but you'll have to trust me. There are filters over to the right-hand side. I kind of drag that across here. For that. All right. And the last piece I'll kind of point out, and I'm not going to go through just for the sake of time, but as I said, this product has a lot of predictive analytics and statistical analysis built straight into the product. So for those who want to take visualization much beyond kind of pretty pictures, this is a great tool for you to look at. All right, I'm going to flip it back over to Lauren.
Thanks, Kurt. Okay, now we're going to talk a little bit about Tableau. Tableau makes ad hoc analysis available and easy for everyone. It actually scored at the top of the Gartner survey for ease of use for both end users and developers. So after connecting to your data source, it's as simple as dragging and dropping the items you would like to analyze, and Tableau from there builds the items right in front, the charts or graphs or any kind of visualization you choose right in front of you. But actually it also provides a optimal visualization option for you to choose from different visualizations as well. So you can choose to run your analysis in memory or as a direct query. And of all the traditional business discovery tools, Tableau is leading the pack with its integration with Hadoop. The integration is performed via specialized connectors to various flavors of Hadoop. Now this latest release, 8.1, will integrate with our statistical language for more sophisticated analytical models and analysis. So if your business is in need of a product with very short implementation and development times, this may be the product for you. From here, let's take a look at a Tableau application. So here we have an opportunity in sales dashboard from Salesforce information. So starting with our opportunity dashboard, you'll see that we have some filters here on the right, dates, countries, whether the opportunity is closed or open, and regions. So maybe we're interested in looking at only the regions in Asia. Go back to the opportunity dashboard. So we'll see that, if you notice before, the opportunities by industry, when all regions were selected, were actually child care services. But when we drill into Asia only, you'll see that it changes to healthcare and medical. Now also, if you're looking at a range of time like this top chart up here, it may be useful to what we call lasso and then drill in. So you can choose to keep only the items you have selected so you can further analyze. Now this won't filter down anything, it just helps in the visualization of your data. So from here, let's reset our filters and take a look at the sales dashboard. So here you'll see information based on your sales, number of deals, average deal size, revenue per salesperson, and your revenue over time performance. So let's say we want to look at only the small and mid-market sales team. And the Europe and Africa region. You'll see that our filters change dynamic, or the information displayed changes dynamically based on what we're filtering. And just to show you a little bit of additional capability, if we want to drill down on Q1, we can actually use this drill down function. And from there it will show the months within Q1, or maybe we want to be able to see that a little bit more clearly, so we'll decide to keep only Q1 in the visualization. So this is just a quick look at a Tableau application.
All right, thanks, Lauren. So we are going to move on to a number of other products that, as I said, as we move through here, we're going to be looking at products that are much more exclusive around big data solutions. So the previous three have been around for a while, and traditionally were geared towards databases like Oracle, Microsoft, DB2, etc. So this first one is Platfora. One of the problems with big data is that while it's extremely fast, and everybody touts the fact that it's fast for putting data in and storing petabytes of data, it's actually quite slow at getting data out. Business discovery products are typically very fast at producing results. So something has to be done in between big data and visual analytic tools. And Platfora's answer is something that they call lenses. Lenses really kind of are compressed columnar representation of the underlying data, organized and aggregated for high performance. Large queries and multiple simultaneous queries are managed across the platform, ensuring rapid response. Well, under the cover, lenses are basically slices of big data that are stored in memory or near memory. So they're not limited to only being in memory. For those of you who are familiar with traditional tools like Oracle, think of lenses as sort of materialized views. The building of the lenses is a process that can take a few hours. Business users can create and explore intuitive, interactive data visualizations, but only after the data is pulled into, quote, the lenses. But once it's in there, you get sub-second query response time because it's running, for the most part, in memory. If you need to add new data types or change dimensions, that takes minutes or hours, but it's not going to take weeks, basically, as if you were rebuilding your conventional data warehouse. A couple of short bullet statements before we move on. It's strictly for use with Hadoop. It has limited SQL support. Charting functionality is good, and it's growing for sure. Transforms nested data structures using JSON strings. It integrates directly with Hadoop, as we've been talking about. It is in memory, or for the most part in memory, and the web-based apps use HTML5. The product is, or the company, I should say, is well-funded and continues to show up within any kind of visual analytic discussion around big data. So if you're really focused on big data, this is definitely a tool that you need to consider. All right, Lauren?
All right, let's talk about DataMeer. Now, DataMeer boasts its ability to scale with your growth. So they have several different versions spanning from their desktop version, which can support about 100 gigabytes, to their enterprise version, which is housed on a Hadoop cluster and can support unlimited petabytes. DataMeer makes manipulating your data easy with their spreadsheet workbooks and a visual data pipeline that displays lineage and dependencies of your data, for instance, joins, aggregations, formatting. If you need any advanced analytical power, DataMeer actually offers over 240 pre-built analytical functions such as clustering, data relationships, predictive recommendation engines, and decision trees. So this is going to be a great tool if you're interested in providing your end user with infographics and static reports, as I'll show you in a couple of demonstrations that we've got here for you. So this first one is around flight delays, and you'll see that it's very customizable and it's got a very unique look to it. You've got 3 static infographics here. You've got the average delay by carrier. You've got an average delay by airport looked at in a geospatial fashion, and a look at the 10 busiest airports. And since we're in Charlotte, let's hover over there and you can see all of the places that Charlotte flies to. Well, the 10 basic airports at least. So these are, as I said, static reports or infographics. You do have the ability to hover over specific data points and get further information, but there's not really much of a drill down function. So for another example, let's look at UFO sightings. So this is a look at UFO sightings since 1900. And you'll see that there is quite a bit on the east and west coast and somewhat in Texas and a little bit in the Midwest. Not really sure why that is, but UFO shapes are also visualized here in this pie chart. And at the bottom, there is a bar chart showing what people perceive the UFO colors to be. So these are just two good examples of how you can take your data and make it very visually pleasing while also delivering a good analysis to your end consumer. But let's also look at a version that may make more sense if you're more of a traditional report type person. So here you'll see, a pretty general dashboard where you've got your information displayed geospatially, pie chart, bar chart, just very simple, easy to read. So this is around bank failures across the United States, and you'll see both in the map and in the pie chart that Georgia actually has the states with the highest bank failures. And then if you'll see at the bottom, you'll see that bank failures have actually increased since 2009, which probably isn't surprising to most. So let's move on.
All right, thanks, Lauren. So the next tool that we're going to look at is called Splunk, kind of an interesting name. Splunk's mission is simple: make machine data accessible, usable, and valuable to everyone. Today, Splunk is the leading platform for real-time operational intelligence, which is actually used by quite a few organizations. I would say that this is not a product for traditional dashboards like a lot of the times we get asked to do sales and marketing, point of sales, and that sort of thing. It's really meant more for reading logs and machine data. Splunk differentiates itself with its ability to parse through logs and provide real-time trends and performance feedback. It's actually one of Information Week's 13 big data vendors to watch in 2013. It employs a unique language, and its core tools are geared a little bit more towards IT types. So user friendliness is not really what it's trying to gear itself towards. But power users can set up metrics and dashboards that business users can tap into to better understand e-commerce traffic, search results, ad campaign effectiveness, and other metrics that would be fed from machine data-related operations. And I need to add that there's an overlap at this point with Hadoop in that Splunk has its own proprietary machine data repository. Splunk is actually working, and I expect that this will come out soon, with a Hadoop engine that goes beyond the two-way integrations that are currently available. And that would presumably leave Splunk to be able to really build more analytics on what their kind of core functionality is. Again, think of this tool for larger companies that have really a lot of machine data, web log data that maybe today you're really just throwing out. You know there's value in it, but you're basically just not doing anything with it. And I'd also add that there's a ton of add-on products that have been created by both Splunk as well as other outside third-party products or companies for very specific use cases like infrastructure monitoring. There's a product that's just around Exchange server monitoring. You can look at, again, there's a whole slew of them, and this seems to really be the list of products that are being built with Splunk and its language is growing. So you can check that out at Splunk.com.
Okay, next up we have Jaspersoft. Now Jaspersoft is a comprehensive BI suite, and they offer a reporting engine, visual report design environment, ad hoc reports, dashboards and in-memory analysis server, OLAP data analysis, and an ETL engine. But there are tiered subscriptions, so you can pay for what you're actually going to need and use, and they are pretty good at working with you to customize your subscription. So whether you're looking to create pixel-perfect reports or utilize statistical analysis, they've got it all covered. They're actually very popular among OEM and SaaS providers because of the embeddable capability, and it seamlessly merges with your existing applications. They also have a very popular feature in their pay-per-hour cloud solution through Amazon Web Services. So let's take a look at Jaspersoft. So this is actually on the Jaspersoft reports server. And here we're looking at a fictitious Supermarch performance dashboard. So you'll see that you have some filters here that you can play with. Maybe you're interested in looking at just the first 2 quarters of data. And I apologize, I might have to re-log in here. Okay, so it's reset, and we're just going to look at January and December for the sake of time. But from here, let's say we want to look at the performance of our top customer, Mary. So we can click on her name, and it's actually going to open in another window a static customer report. And they actually have just recently added this barcode functionality. You'll see here in the top right. And as you scroll down, you can look at all of Mary's personal information, her demographics, her shopping behaviors and habits. And at the bottom, you can look at what she's actually purchased. And you'll see at the top, actually, there is 12 pages of this static report just for Mary. So let's jump back over to the main dashboard and look at the equivalent report for your promotions. This pops up in a new window, your promotion details report. This is going to be good for looking at how your promotions are performing, and maybe you want to create a new promotion based on high-performing promotions. So also, we could drill into the static revenue report, which isn't as static as the others because it does offer you the ability to filter based on product family. So you can simply click, say, non-consumables, and apply that filter, and your data will change dynamically to the right. So back to our dashboard, you will see that you can also click into, say, look at a report by April. It breaks down your performance just in the month of April. This is just a look at how you can take a single dashboard and allow it to connect to many static reports to create a holistic, experience to look at your data. So from here, we will jump back over to the presentation.
All right, great. So this is the last product that we're going to look at, Alpine Data Labs. Their tagline is mine, model, and score your data where it lives. Alpine has a very, very specific use case, so it'll be pretty easy for you to figure out if this is a product that you want to look at. But it's the use case is really around predictive analytics and data science for savvy business users on big data and traditional data. It was originally built really to allow business users to build out predictive analytic models. But what we're seeing is that it's achieving that goal, but data scientists are really liking the product too, because frankly it helps them to do what they have done before, but just to do it faster. This is another startup company, but it's really getting some great traction in the market. With Alpine, business analysts and data scientists perform really every aspect of the analytic process, including exploration, profiling, transformation, modeling, and scoring, but without needing to extract or move data into a separate analytics environment. So let me just repeat that last part. So a lot of tools basically make you pull the data into their own repository and then perform that. But what Alpine does is it allows you to leverage the scalability of your existing databases and to use Hadoop. The net result is that the processes can be performed with really very little limitation on, or I should say no limitation, on the size of or complexity of your data. It cuts weeks and months from the analytic process because it eliminates, like I said before, that unnecessary movement of data. The translation is really that you don't have to build a data warehouse. All right. So I want to go through just a couple sample slides here that show a little bit of Alpine data. This first slide is really showing the building of the models. And it might be a little bit tough to see this, but it would just have taken too long to actually go through and build this whole thing out. What you've got here are basically different operators that are pre-built. So you've got aggregation. You've got on the far left-hand side, you can see that we're extracting data from traditional as well as from Hadoop. It runs within your existing data platform. It has a very, very simple, intuitive interface. It allows you to build better models by analyzing full data sets and not just samples, which has really been, it started a lot of why Hadoop and these types of technologies were better, because you could analyze and run models on the full set. But this is allowing you to do it not just with Hadoop, but other types of databases. You can share models and workflows across teams. I'm going to flip and look at a few other. So this is actually kind of now showing some of the results. Again, the product is very, very much built for predictive analytics and data scientists, but not for the data scientists. It basically allows the business users to use what data scientists traditionally had to do for them. So again, very, very easy to use. There's a lot of visual components to it. So if you are both big data as well as traditional, and you're wanting to build some fairly complex models, this is the right tool for you. It is not a pretty dashboard application, but it's much more of a predictive analytics data scientist tool. All right. Okay, so how can Pactera help in this area? Well, we have moved through looking at a number of these products, and we could spend 3 or 4 more hours looking at other products. But we know this space. We live and breathe in this space of visual analytics, specifically within big data. So this is what we typically, how we go to customers as they try to select a product that's right for them. What we typically do is to agree on building out a POC, and in some cases it's completely complementary. In other cases, because of the complexity of it, there is some negotiation on the price of building out that POC. But then a lot of times these products, they're meant to be fast implementation. So a typical implementation is a month to 2 months in time, and then after that we certainly offer support for your implementation. We love this business intelligence area. Hopefully that shows a little bit through our demonstration today. And big data, frankly, is making this even more exciting. Well, that's all for this presentation. We've got a couple of questions that came in, and we'll cover those real quick. And Lauren, I'll let you cover this first one. Do you, not to put you on the spot, but do you have a preferred vendor in the big data space?
Okay. Well, I'm not going to play favorites, but the choice is really just a factor of what is going to work best for your business and your organization. There are certainly vendors that have more strengths in one area or another. Take, for example, Alpine Data Labs. They're really good at the predictive analysis. Jaspersoft has been commended for their lower total costs. So it really just comes down to what you need, and we would love to help you determine that.
All right, thanks, Lauren. You dodged that. So the second question is, can traditional products like QlikView, Microsoft, TIBCO really work with big data? Great question. Yes, the answer is yes, but each of them are going to wrestle with this in different ways. And clearly there are some products that were built exclusively for big data from the very get-go, and so they are going to have a little bit of a competitive advantage when they're trying to pull just from big data. But the disadvantage is that a lot of those tools can only pull from big data. So this market is, as we said, absolutely in a lot of change. There will be, at some point, some clear leaders, and some are emerging already today. But definitely an exciting space, and we shall see. All right. Well, thank you, everyone, for your time and for attending today. And if you have any questions, we've got some contact information up here. Feel free to reach out, and we would love to work with you. Thank you, and have a great day.